Hi, my name is Armando from God Passion, and thank you so much for tuning in. Now, this is a this is going to be me getting real about my college experience and how I feel it went. What looking back, how I feel now, and sort of anything and everything in between. I hope that if you just graduated college in May, congratulations first off, class of 2018. If you are graduating in December, if you're in the middle of college, if you're going into college, or maybe you know someone who is a college graduate, or you just know a college bound teen or something, or a college bound person. I don't know, but I hope that this brings some sort of insight that you can really benefit from, because I feel like I have a lot to say about college, but I must also give a lot about where I come from on this issue on the issue on the issue because it's a freaking issue, because it's an issue, man. College is an issue. No, I think I have to tell you where I'm at on the subject and sort of how that shapes my opinion, to be what it is now. And so I'm sorry, mom and dad, for everything I'm about to say. In case they do, they will probably end up listening to this and they're watching this, and this is probably going to be a little I don't know, heartbreaking. Yeah, heartbreaking probably, and everybody else in between. No judgment. Hashtag no judgment, bro. I didn't plan on going to college, but I didn't plan on not going to college as well. So I think that's sort of how I got thrown into the situation of going to college. I think I applied to 4 schools. One was a community college. The next was a private school that I heard. I didn't even really do research at, honestly, but I heard that they really help people that are from the area. And one was a school in Sacramento. One was in a school not too far from where I lived, called CSU Stanislaus. And I went to school in California, so we had the California State University system. It was more like public and not so crazy big and expensive as a UC. I don't even know if I got into. Okay, I don't think I got into the private school. Maybe I got into the community college. I don't know. The school in Sacramento, maybe I got into it. I never even checked, but I remember getting a huge packet saying you are accepted to CSU Stanislaus. So I was like, you know what? They went out of their way to get me, to tell me that I'm accepted. I'm going there, man. And also at the time, I was dating somebody, and they're also going there, so that probably had a lot to do with it as well. But at the time, I was dating someone who we graduated together, and so that was kind of their plan, and so I think that became my plan as well. And why did I go? I think for the longest time and for years, and I don't know when it started, but it was like in my mind and engraved and solidified in me that to get a good income, to get a good life, to get a good place in the future, you got to go to school. You got to further your education. And I don't know. I feel like, wow. I feel like there was in my mind, there's almost no other option. So it was like school or bust, I guess. And I think getting a job right out of high school, it didn't seem right, or it didn't feel right in my mind. So I was like, I guess I'm going to school. Like I said, I only applied to 4 because it was like my senior year. I was getting close to graduating, and I just really had no direction and really no help, because I'm first generation. So I'm first generation to go to college, and first generation in the U.S. as well. So it was almost, I don't know. It was kind of like being lost at sea, because I didn't have really a counselor to tell me what to do. I mean, I had a counselor telling me due dates, but I didn't have them telling me what to do. And I didn't really have much direction on where to go or any of that stuff, really. So I just sort of applied to a few schools and was just like, well, I got accepted to one of them. I guess I'll just go to that one. And, not complaining at all. It is what it is. And so going to school, it took me 5 years. I got a bachelor's degree. I won't say in what yet, because, a part of my stance on college and higher education has a lot to do with what happens next. And so I remember I was always told, be a doctor, be a lawyer, be an engineer, make good money, go somewhere to make good money. And so that played a lot in what I was trying to go to school for. So I remember all throughout high school, I was kind of studying and learning to be like an engineer. And I was like in environmental studies and mechanical or engineering or system. I don't know. It's some sort of thing in my high school, I remember. And I remember my senior year, I got into the show and I got into like kind of psychology. And I was just sort of like, dude, like forget engineering, man. Like psychology's cool, man. And like people are pretty cool and people are pretty wild. So I think I would love to learn psychology. So I remember my senior year, I like changed things completely. And I was like, you know what? I want to go to school to be a psychologist. And so I remember I was going around and I was learning more about the field, learning more about, just in general. And they said, if you want to go to school to be a psychologist, you got to get at least your doctorates or your master's. And that's like 6 to 8 years of schooling. I was like, no. So that kind of turned me away from it. I didn't really think that was cool. I wasn't crazy about school. So I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. So I applied to this college and actually went in under a psychology major. And so I get to school and it's my freshman year, my first year, and it's super cool, super exciting. Just a lot of, cool experiences, a lot of new people. And I discovered I don't want to go to school for 6 to 8 years. Like that is just not what I want to do at all. I didn't know what I wanted really, but I knew I didn't want to go to school that long. And I figured out I was pretty good at math. I remember speaking to a math professor at my school, at my university, and he was like, you should, maybe you should study in math. Do you like psychology? And I was like, well, psychology is cool, but I don't want to be in school for 8 years. And he was like, well, maybe you should be a math professor, or maybe you should, major in math. And I was like, no, that sounds too difficult or too hard. And so maybe I should have known right then and there that I was just like trying to dodge things and take the easy path. And so, which is just one, like timeout. Do not take the easy, direct path. It doesn't lead anywhere really great, honestly. I feel like it doesn't. And so I remember him telling me, you know what? Well, you can try doing computer science. I mean, it's a field in calling and it uses math, but you're not a math major. And obviously the field is growing. And so I remember thinking to myself, wow, like computer science, that's like technology stuff. Because I didn't know what the major was at the time. I mean, I was like, 17 years old. So I was like, yeah, that sounds cool, man. And so I remember doing research and it was like, with the 4-year degree, you can get out of school and you can get like a $50,000 job, or you can, starting is like 40 and 45-ish, and I was like, holy crap, like that's the jackpot. And, so I was like, dude, I'm doing computer science. Yes. And so at the end of my freshman year, I changed my major and I became a computer science major. And so I went into my second year. I didn't really miss out on too much. I made the change pretty soon, so I was able to start in there. And plus I was taking a whole bunch of prerequisites, and there's like those core classes you have to take in university to even have a degree that doesn't really have to do with your major. So I was like taking all of those at the same time. So I was taking all of those at the time. So I didn't really miss out on the path of graduating in 4 years per se. Went into my second year, a computer science major, started picking everything, and that's sort of where everything solidified. So, yes, I do have a bachelor's degree in computer science, and it sounds super cool and it sounds super amazing, but I don't know. I don't see it as impressive. I don't see it as something to be super proud of, but let me keep talking. Maybe that'll make more sense. I was never really in college, man, like into it. I mean, I got like, let's see, what did I get? I think my first semester I might have got like a 3.0, 3 point something. And then after that, I I didn't take it so seriously. I started getting C's. Graduating high school, I had like a 3.6 something. So, I was fairly used to getting B's and mostly B's with A's. And, I think I got like 1 or 2 C's. Never got below that. But going to college, I just started, I started getting C's. And I remember getting like my first like 2 point something. And that sucked. It bummed me out because going from somewhere where high school felt pretty easy and I was just getting B's and A's to somewhere where I was in charge of myself, in charge of being responsible for myself, doing the homework, doing the classwork and everything. And I was just getting C's. And so right away my GPA went down pretty hard. Oh man, Jesus, dude. One semester I got like a 1 point something. I wasn't close. I don't think I was ever really super close to being on probation at my university or being on like suspension or something like that. Because if you score too low of a GPA, that can happen to you. But I remember one semester I got like a 1 point something. I never told my parents. Sorry, mom and dad. And so that was rough. And I didn't really know what I was doing. So I just kept going to school, man. Maybe I should have dropped out and maybe I should have taken a year off and come back, recuperate, whatever. I don't know. But I got like a 1 point something and my GPA quickly went to like a 2.5. So that carried on from my second year to my third year. I mean, Jesus, dude. Looking back on it now, it's pretty wild because I remember I had to take calculus and then but to get to calculus, you can either take pre-calc or you can take college algebra and trigonometry. And so I went this route because I was like, you know what? I'm not so super confident in my math skills, which I probably should have been because I ended up being pretty good at it. And so I did college algebra and I got like a C plus in it or something. And then I did trigonometry. And oh man. So the first time I took trigonometry, I just didn't go to class really. So I failed, just flat out F. The second time I took it, I went to class a few more times, but I got like a D. The third time I took it, yes, I got an A in it because I knew that's the front to back. I mean, I memorized it. I remember something switched in my mind and I was like, dude, this is a third time. If you don't pass a class for a third time, like I think you take an incomplete. You can't take the class anymore. Like, the university's not gonna let you waste your time in there. So I was like, you know what, dude, I have to do this. So I got an A, and I better have gotten an A. It was my freaking third time taking the dang class, and my third time seeing all the subjects. So I got an A. So that's sort of, hopefully, that example gives you an idea of my mindset. I don't know what I was thinking really. I don't know what I was expecting out of. I don't know what sort of results I was expecting out of what I was putting into it. But as you can tell, it wasn't a lot of effort. So I just sort of didn't get great results, to say the least. In my third year, that's when I got a 1 point something. Because I remember I was an RA on campus. And I got a pretty bad GPA. And I think that almost endangered my job. Because I got such a low GPA. And going to my fourth year, I had some help, some motivation switch. And so I did end up getting on Dean's list. I think I got like a 3.6 or 3.7 one semester or something like that. I think I got like all A's except for like one B or C. And so that really hurt that. But then the next semester I got like a 3.0. The next semester I got like a 3-ish point 0. And so going into my last semester and going into my last year of college, I had like a 2.7. And that's what I ended up graduating with. Sorry, mom and dad, I never told you that either. And on top of that, dude, I never did any internships. I didn't do any casework. I didn't do anything. And so I just, man, I feel now that I look back on it, I did bare minimum to get my degree, man. And so I just didn't really take it seriously. And I took out some loans. So now I owe on loans. And I got this degree that I didn't really take too seriously, I was super happy that I graduated. And I remember like almost crying on my graduation day because I was like, holy crap, dude. Like I made it. I mean, There's times where I legit didn't know if I was going to graduate college. There's times where I didn't know if I was going to make it through the semester. There's times I didn't know if it was just really going to happen, but I did it. And I was super proud. I was super proud. And I remember thinking, like, I cannot believe I did it. Like, I almost cannot believe I pulled it off. I mean, there's some things that happened in college too, in some classes that like could have really hurt me and hurt my college graduation. But I'm not going to get too specifics about that. But so there's sort of my experience in college. I wasn't a great student. I graduated with like a 2.7. And I didn't have any internships. If you graduated and your experience sounds kind of like mine, if you graduated and your experience is sounding like mine, or if you're going into college and that sounds like that might be your experience, got a rude awakening for you, buddy. I don't know what you're thinking coming out of school. I don't know what you're thinking going to the end of the year, to the beginning of your last year, or going to your senior year of school where you're going to graduate, but it's rough, man. So here I am coming out of school. I didn't really know a lot about the subject because I just sort of did what I had to do to get by, and I just sort of passed classes. I didn't really excel at any of them. And so going into interviews, it was rough. It was hard. So I graduated in May of 2016, and I applied to a bunch of places in California. I applied to 50 plus places for sure. I got like maybe 10-ish interviews out of those 50. And I got a handful, so maybe 4 at most, second round interviews or final round interviews. Where either, I was like meeting up with a panel and had to answer questions, and they asked me specific questions to the position. That was heartbreaking to get nothing. It sucked. Because I went from May to like July without a job, and I didn't get hired in anything in my major. Then one thing I really learned from that experience was I chose computer science because it seemed like a smart move. It was a field that was growing. It was something that I can make, in my mind, money in. And so for those 3 reasons, I chose computer science. Now, if you just heard me list those 3 things, you'll know that I never said I'm passionate. I never said I love computer science. I never said I love technology. And so graduating college with the degree in something I didn't love or I didn't feel passionate in, wow. Like I may have really done a huge disservice to myself and to my pride and to my ego, because coming out of college, I kept getting so many no's, and man, I kept getting so many no's. It like hurt, I didn't want to apply anymore. Hearing no sucked. It really sucked. And when I got interviews, man, I did, there's a few interviews I'm proud of and I did really well, and I still didn't get the job, obviously. And then there's just a few interviews, like, dude, I went in there and they started asking me questions, and I legit looked at them and I said, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know what you're really talking about. Can you rephrase that? Can you use it in a sentence? Can you name the word of origin? Like I had zero to no idea about some of the questions. And it hurts. And that hurt, man. Like that I feel like that was a shot at my ego and a shot at my confidence. And so I was just like, dude, that's going to be another video, because I think my experience with interviewing was an interesting one. In terms of some interviews, I feel like really like up, and there's and maybe it's a funny story. For now, it's a funny story. At the time, it sucked, but so that was my college experience, and that was my experience coming out of college. If you just graduated school and you graduated with something that you don't feel passionate about, or you don't feel passionate, because passion is a really strong word. That's a strong, scary word. So if you graduated college right now and you have a degree in something that you don't exactly feel excited about, find something to be excited about. Like, really, find something to be excited about and just do that thing every day. Whether or not you get paid for it, whether or not people are paying attention, just do that thing every day, because it'll keep you sane. The world can become real monotonous real quick, man. It really can. And that's why I started this. And that's why I started my last project that I tried doing, because it was something I really enjoyed and something that made me excited. And I needed that excitement in my life every day. And so that's why I'm doing it now. That's why I continue to do it. So please, if you're in college and maybe you're not exactly excelling, you're not exactly doing great, and the stuff you're studying doesn't make you excited, really think about what you want, man, or chick. Like, really think about it. Because if I could go back, would I change my major? I don't know. I'm a huge believer in everything happens for a reason. I'm a huge believer in, things will play out in the way that it does, and it will be good. It'll all work out for the path that you want. But if I could go back in time, I probably would change my major to philosophy, because I took some philosophy classes and I loved it, and I got A's in them, and they were super fun and super awesome to read for. So, and I still continue to read like philosophical-esque books to this day. If you're in high school and you're thinking about going to college, and this piece of content somehow found its way to you, or somebody has shown you this, coming from a guy who's 24 years old, graduated college, leaving high school, and not exactly knowing his plan, and not exactly sure if he was going to college, and sort of went just because that was the thing to do, and because everybody told me that's what I should do. Really think about what you want. The internet is changing things. I mean, what I learned in my major, you can learn online for free, or you can pay maybe a few thousands of dollars, which is a fraction of what I paid, and you can learn what I know. You can be better at it than me, and you don't even have to go. I mean, technology is a funny field, because at one point, yeah, a degree helps, but at another point, you don't need a degree to learn this stuff. It's free. It's on the internet. It's right here. It's on Facebook. It's on YouTube. It's on podcasts. It's everywhere. You don't need this degree to really do it. But I personally feel like, if an employer is like, you don't have this degree, you don't have this, a degree in this thing that I want you to have it in, I don't know if that's a great employer as well, because it's all about what you can do and showing up. It's all about showing up. And like me, if I like looking back at myself and looking back at how I am and who I am and what I've done to get here, it's like, yeah, you got a degree, man. Yeah, you got a degree, bro. But are you showing up with that degree, with the skills, with that knowledge? Are you showing up? You're not. So you don't really deserve a job. Just because you got a piece of paper just because you went to school and you just skimmed by, nah, man, not yet. It's hard work. Everything and anything you want, it's going to be hard work. I could probably still get a degree. I could probably still get a job with my degree. I'm going to have to put in some hard work to relearn some stuff. I'm going to have to put in some hard work to really get to know it again. I'm going to have to really put in some hard work to understand it. I'm going to put in some hard work to learn the new skills in it. It can be done, but it's going to take hard work. But that's where something exciting comes in. Because it doesn't excite me, because it doesn't make me want to really learn, I'm probably not going to do it. So am I, like, right now at 24 years old, telling you that I'm probably going to sit on this degree and not do anything with it? Probably. Maybe. I remember leaving school and saying, I love people. I love helping people. I love talking to people. I love getting to know people. I love building relationships with people. And so if I'm going to do something, it's going to be with people. I'm going to find a way to use this knowledge and use this like technology knowledge or technological knowledge to help people. I'm going to find a way to use computer science to help people. And I'm still on that mission, and I'm still on that path. That's why this is here. That's why you're watching this. That's why I'm making this, because I want to help people in any way, shape, or form, in any way possible. If I could help one person, that'd be good, man. And so I also want you to know that if you just graduated college and you sort of feel like you don't know if you made the right decision in your major, in your degree, or you sort of feel lost outside of it, you're not alone. Like, you're really not. That's exactly how I felt. And right now at this point, 2 years later, I don't feel really lost anymore. I feel like I have my eyes somewhere. I kind of feel lost in that because I don't know how that's going to happen, but I don't feel lost in the sense of like life, you know? I feel like I found something worth fighting for and worth being excited about. I'm going to try and wrap up this video quick because it's getting really dark, so this camera's like freaking out on me. But you're not alone. If you have to take a job, if you can't find a job and you just want to take a job, I kind of encourage you to do it, because sometimes when you're trying to find what you want to do, it can be just as helpful figuring out what you don't want to do. If you're in that job, if you're there now, maybe you graduated last year, maybe you graduated the same year I did, and you're at a job that you don't like, and you're at a job that sucks, and you can't fathom going to work every day, but you do it anyways. In your mind, whatever you think about, whatever you escape to, whatever your escapism is. Maybe you think about being like a fashion designer. Maybe you think about being a YouTuber. Maybe you think about being a podcaster, you know? Maybe you think about being an Instagram model. Maybe you think about being an Instagram guru. Maybe you think about being a cook. Maybe you think about being a baker. Maybe you think about being a bartender. Maybe you think about being maybe you think about being a DJ. Whatever you escape to, whatever you think in your mind, do that. Just do it. If you want to be a DJ, just start DJing to yourself. Start saying you'll DJ things free here and there, you know? If you want to be like a speaker, start speaking. Start talking to people. Start looking for free ways to speak to people. You know, you don't get paid. Don't look for money, because you got to build the skill first. Like everything else, you got to build a skill. If you think about being like, you know, an Instagram model, I don't know how that works, really. I can't tell you. Start taking pictures, start putting filters on your stuff. I don't know. Just start doing that thing. Whatever excites you in your day, start doing that thing. And maybe you won't end up liking that thing anymore. And maybe that will lead you to something else that will instead lead you down a different path. And who knows, man? But just start doing something that excites you. Okay? And if you're leaving college and you're a little afraid, it's all right, because the real world is kind of a scary place, man. It is. And you got to figure out bills, and you got to figure out taxes, and you got to figure out how much you got to make, and you got to figure out, can I do it in one job? Do I got to get two jobs? Do I got to get part-time and the full-time? Do I get two part-times? Do I get three part-times? It's a lot to take in. So that was a huge ordeal. Hopefully that made sense. Hopefully that helped somebody. Hopefully that helped some of you. I hope that was sort of enlightening. And I think bottom line, find something that excites you. And I'll leave you with a quote, because I found this quote to kind of sum up what I've done, where I'm going, and what I'm doing now. And that quote is, I'd rather be on the first step of a ladder I love than be on the top step of a ladder I hate. Find something that excites you and do it. Do it every day until you get really good at it. And when you get really good at it, keep doing it. Okay? So, thank you so much. If you listen, if you stay throughout this whole thing, I'm going to have to edit this down a lot because this is a lot longer than I thought it would be. But I thank you for your time. I thank you for your eyes. I thank you for your ears. Hope you have a great night. Hope you have a great day. Peace. Armando out.